All right, Chairman.
Good afternoon. The Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Anthony Robinson, and I will be chairing today's meeting. Attending today's virtual meeting are board members Mona Parsley, Mel DeSimone, and Joe Klitzing. Also in attendance for the city is Mary Hart Burton, zoning administrator for the city, Evan Winkler, community development planner for the city, who will also be representing the city in the cases we are hearing today, Andrea Gutierrez, lead zoning specialist. Our attorney for the board is Archer Mellon. Our court reporter is Laura Stewart. Today we will be hearing 4 cases. First, we will hear from the city's representative, who will explain why the permit could not be issued. Next, we will hear from the applicant or their representative. Then we will hear from those in favor of the appeal, and then from those opposed. Please be concise, as testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. When you come online via video or telephone, please wait to be sworn in by the court reporter, then please state your name and mailing address. To ensure proper records for our court reporter, we ask that those online or by telephone please to remain on mute. Following testimony on all of today's cases, the board will go into its deliberative portion of the hearing, at which time we will vote on all cases heard. The board will notify each applicant and or their representative of decisions by mail in about 2 weeks. You're welcome to remain during our deliberations. However, we will not hear additional testimony at that time. You may also call the lead zoning specialist, Drea, tomorrow at 314-622-3666 to learn the outcome of your appeal. Again, the number is 314-622-3666. Drea, will you please read appeal number 20584?
Appeal number 20584, 5630 North Broadway.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, community development planner for the city of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the building commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate a new and used auto sales business, no body working, no detailing, and no repairs at 5630 North Broadway. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of One Automotive LLC concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate an automobile sales used no repair at 5630 North Broadway in city block number 3431.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is J Industrial District, and also ordinance number 67390, the North Broadway Vicinity Special Use District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential businesses and industrial areas. It's also to divide the city into districts of such number, shape, area, and of such different classes according to the use of the land and the buildings and the intensity of such use as may be deemed best suited to carry out the purposes of the zoning ordinance. The applicable zoning code provisions are ordinance number 67390, section 7B, vehicular related business operations. A non-conforming use within the SUD must be discontinued within no more than 30 days from the date upon which the city issues notice of a non-conforming use. No new or expanded vehicular related business operations shall be permitted within the boundaries of the SUD, and any such new or expanded operation shall be a non-conforming use. Any such operation which does not comply with the requirements of paragraph A of this section 7 as of the date of this ordinance shall be considered non-conforming uses. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So in summary, the applicant is applying for an occupancy permit to operate an auto sales business, no bodywork, no detailing, and no repairs It is in the J underlying zoning district. However, the North Broadway vicinity SUD, special use district, which is an overlay, does not permit vehicular related business operations. Therefore, a use variance would be required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan covering this area. It was applied for after the adoption of our 2025 strategic land use plan. And that plan calls this area a flex industrial area. And the granting of variance would be in keeping with this designation's intent of encouraging and allowing many types of commercial activity, including automobile related uses. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20584 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. A couple notes on this. I'm actually going to have a planning staff member when I'm finished be sworn in and kind of elaborate on this. Because we do have a letter of opposition from the alderwoman, which I'm going to read into the record. It was a late submission, so we weren't able to get it to the board members prior to the meeting. But on July 15th, 2025, it reads, Dear members of the Board of Adjustment, please accept this letter as my support of the building commissioner in the denial of an occupancy permit, authorizing the petitioner to operate as a new and used auto sales business. No bodywork, no detailing, no repairs at 5630 North Broadway. The property is zoned North Broadway Special Use District, Section 7, Vehicular Related Business Operations within the Special Use District, Zone J, Industrial District. The location of the proposed business is in the North Riverfront neighborhood between Broadway and Prescott Street. In 2007, Ordinance 67390 was passed, which is an ordinance pertaining to special use district and establishing the North Broadway vicinity commercial area special use district. The ordinance provided definitions, standards, and regulations for said North Broadway Riverfront neighborhood special use district. The district was passed to assist in the implementation of the strategic land use plan in the area for the health, safety, moral, and general welfare of the area. It also passed to address specific problems such as criminal activities, difficulty in attracting new businesses, and retaining existing businesses in the district due to unattractive appearance of some existing uses. The ordinance specifically prohibits new and expanded vehicular-related businesses from being permitted to locate within the boundaries of the special use district. The ordinance goes on to state that any new or expanded operation shall be non-conforming. There are several other restrictions on a new and expanded operation of the vehicular-related business that supports the building commissioner's denial of an occupancy permit for the petitioner. For the above stated reasons, I support the building commissioner in the denial of an occupancy permit, authorizing the petitioner to operate as a new and used auto sales business at 5630 North Broadway. If you have questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me 314-622-3759 or 314-328-5189 or Tyus S at stlewis-mo.gov. Respectfully, Sharon Tyus, Alderman of the 12th Ward. So I'll entertain any questions from the board members, but like I said, I would like planning staff to be sworn in after me to elaborate on why the new strategic land use plan might recommend or say that it's in keeping when there's zoning ordinances that do not permit the use. So are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from planning staff. Let's get you sworn in.
It'll be
That would be
James.
me.
Yep.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, Mr. Pfister, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Sure. My name is James Pfister, Senior Planner with the Planning and Urban Design Agency at 1520 Market Street.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
Hi, everybody. I don't often get a chance to explain more fully the interplay between the zoning code and the SLOOP and the comprehensive plan. So I appreciate you, the board, and Mary and Evan for allowing me to chime in. Um, the strategic land use plan is very high level. The designations have to be broad enough that they can describe, a large swath of very diverse areas of the city in general terms. The zoning code is intentionally supposed to be more specific and more site dependent. That said, we have a code that is very old and a strategic land use plan that's very new. So naturally, we're starting to see some, discrepancies between the code, the on the ground regulations, and the aspirations within the strategic land use plan. That said, as a planner, I don't always feel comfortable using the strategic land use plan to go against an approved special use district. By definition, special use districts are meant to sort of reflect community vision and desire, and oftentimes to confront a failure or an inefficiency in the underlying zoning code. But because the SUD operates like an overlay to the zoning district, the variance process treats an SUD much like the underlying zoning code, when in reality, us in the planning department believe that SUDs should be given greater consideration because they were these creations that came about later. They were created by the community in order to achieve some sort of specific goal or regulate some sort of specific land use. And then it was approved as a law by the Board of Aldermen. So even though in this specific case, the use in question is allowed by the strategic land use designation, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is an appropriate use for this parcel in this neighborhood within this special use district. That's what the board is here to decide. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Any board members?
So just to summarize, to make sure I have this right, even though it's permitted by one part of it, the SUD is put in there to make sure that it's more restrictive, or it refines it more to what they're trying to get to for that area, correct?
Correct. Yeah, and Evan may chime back in, but the SUD enabling legislation, it was created in order to kind of patchwork solve these inefficiencies in the code, so that if a neighborhood had some sort of collected vision around promoting or regulating a certain use, they could drop that overlay along a corridor or a section of their neighborhood. So, we hope to, treat SUDs with a little more weight than we do our very old underlying zoning code.
I will add a little bit. A traditional process of adopting a SLOOP and then a zoning code is that the zoning comes directly after the adoption of the SLOOP, which we are doing as a city, which is great news. That way, the zoning regulations enforce what's desired by the SLOOP. And again, we're in that unusual period where our zoning regulations, the districts, the underlying zoning, don't necessarily reflect everything that's desired per individual parcels at this time. Hence, of many years of patchwork overlays to kind of create the achieved desire of specific communities. So we don't know what the outcome will be exactly of the new zoning code, but likely these overlays will be addressed in some capacity in the new code.
Okay, any other board members? Joe, are you saying something?
Historically, this parcel, this piece that we're talking about, how long has it been since it was a car dealership or something? It looks like it was something to do with automotives for quite a while.
Yeah, I there was an occupancy permit from 80 something. I want to say 86 or 87. I do not know if they obviously did not continue it per the regulations, or else this application wouldn't have been denied. But I don't know when that occupancy permit ceased to operate as a true business.
Okay.
Any other board members? Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Mr. Zafar, let's get you sworn in.
Sure.
Your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Oh, sure. It's Shahryar Zafar, and I'm at 5160 Goethe Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63109. Yeah, so I completely agree with the city that there is a redevelopment plan and we might not fit in with the plans of the city. But in my defense, this was already built to be a car dealership from the start. It's properly gravelled. There's enough office space to conduct the business. And we're not going to be doing any repairs, any detailing, or any of that nature. So we're when I say we, it's just basically me. So what I'm thinking is the plan is to keep it clean. The property's been vacant for a while, and there hasn't been any interest. I actually talked to the owner, and he said no one has reached out to him, anyone from the city or anyone around that place to have it redeveloped or anything. So that's why I said maybe I could rent it out and use that as a car dealership. But later I found out that there was a redevelopment plan that was set in place by the city. So basically just it's been there, and this property caught my eye, and I just thought this was already, because the city told us that we have to be in an F or a J to be authorized to conduct this business. So that's why this was already in J, and that's why I went to the owner asking her their permission if you could rent this place out. We don't have any neighbors around us per se. There's the building next to us is also owned by the same owner, and the building across the street is also owned by the same owner. And there's nothing behind us. Across from us is the highway, and then there's a fire station. I know Alderwoman has stated that she's not agreeing with this business. I agree with her somewhat, because if you go down North Broadway, there are some businesses that have kind of littered and have cars that, don't look that great, and their property is kind of deteriorating. So that's not my plan. We're not going to be doing any of that. It's always been my entrepreneurial side that I want to do this business, and I want to do it right. I want to build something, and what this does is, brings commerce to the city and helps city grow as well, because we're gonna be giving taxes back to the city as well. So I'm just pretty adamant on keeping this clean, and we also have enough fencing, and we're gonna put cameras to keep it safe and quiet. And it's also not a nuisance business like any other business. We're not gonna have a lot of traffic coming in. We're not even going to use the front entrance that is closer to the main street. We're going to use the back entrance, so that's not going to cause any type of traffic blocking. I know there's a bus stop right across, like right in front of us. So to give them enough room to operate freely, we're not going to be using any of the front street to conduct any of our business. So I'm trying to keep it professional in a presentable manner, and just bringing commerce to the city. And it's been vacant, and just wanted to open up my own business. It's going to be my first business, and just wanted to do something on my own. And yeah, just that in my defense.
Got a question. Are you familiar with the standard conditions for your type of business?
Standard conditions?
Yeah, there's a list of conditions we typically put on auto sales, or any auto business actually. Evan, would you read them out, please?
Yeah,
Now, if you
sure.
have any problems with any of them as we're going through them, Tell us what it is and we'll see what we can do, okay?
Sure, sure.
The first condition is that the entire parking vehicle display area on the exterior of premises shall be paved and striped. Parking areas shall be striped so as to substantially conform to the width and depth layout standards for parking spaces as provided for in section 26.16.080D of the zoning code. Number two is that the parking lot layout shall be submitted to and approved by the zoning administrator before the building occupancy permit is issued. Number three is that the vehicles parked on the lot shall be in approved parking spaces. All spaces shall be equipped with approved ballers or wheel stops so that to prohibit vehicles encroaching on public right-of-way or private property. The board has also allowed for fences. Number four is that parking lot layout spaces shall be labeled vehicles for sale or customer parking or employee parking or any other uses. If multiple businesses are on this property, spaces shall be labeled for each business separately. Number five is vehicles owned by the petitioner are prohibited from being parked or sold on public streets, alleys, or sidewalks adjacent to this location. Number six is that vehicle access and egress from the lot shall only be permitted utilizing established curb cuts and driveways on the premises. No access or egress of vehicles shall be permitted across sidewalks or curbs. Number seven, the stringing of lights, flags, or streamers on the premises is prohibited. Number eight, any parking area lighting to be installed shall be installed on metal or masonry poles with underground wiring and shall not exceed 22 feet in height and adjusted so that no more than 0.5 foot candles measured at grade falls on any abutting residential uses. The improvements shall not be installed until approvals and permits are received for all appropriate city agencies. Number nine is there shall be no exterior signage installed on the premises until separate approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. This shall include mobile commander boards and balloons on tethers. Number 10, exterior amplified intercom systems, phone ringing systems, or music systems are prohibited. Number 11, the existing building on the premises, if any, shall be completely repaired and restored pursuant to all applicable zoning and building codes. These improvements shall not be installed until approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. Number 12, there shall be no storage of derelict or salvage vehicles permitted on the subject premises or on the public streets or the alleys or the sidewalks adjacent to this location. All vehicles shall be in operable condition. Number 13, there shall be no vehicular, mechanical, or body repair, spray painting on the subject premises or on the public streets, alleys, or sidewalks adjacent to this location. Number 14, there shall be no open storage of auto mechanical or body parts, batteries, tires, motor oil, or other automotive fluids, or refuse of any nature on the subject premises or on the public streets, alleys, or sidewalks adjacent to this location. Number 15, there shall be no salvage of parts from vehicles on subject premises. Number 16, the hours of operation will be limited to what you testify here today. Number 17, there shall be no cord or rope type LED lighting surrounding or framing windows or doors. Number 18, the petitioner shall provide a commercial dumpster and establish a trash removal contract through a private source for regular pickups and maintain the entire premises in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. Number 19, the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premises for use by the customers and shall be emptied on a daily basis or more if needed. If another container is needed due to the level of business, it shall also be provided. Number 20, there shall be no vending, ATM machines, or payphones on the exterior of the premises at any given time. And number 21, the premises shall not be issued a public nuisance notice pursuant to ordinance number 68535 or its successor ordinances. Do you have any questions about or concerns about any of those conditions?
No, those are pretty fair conditions.
Quick question. Do you know how many cars you'll have on the lot?
So I think the space, the owner said he could park 20 cars, but that would be a lot for me in the beginning. So I'm limiting from 5 to 10 in the start, but 20 would be the maximum that we could go on the lot.
What would be your hours of operations and days of operation?
So Monday through Saturdays, 10 from 10 to 6 p.m.
Okay. Any other board members have any questions?
Have you tried to
Thank-
reach the alderperson or the people from the south, from North Broadway there?
I did. I left her a few emails, but I never heard back from her, and I couldn't reach her at the office, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you.
Any other board members? Okay, thank you, Mr. Zafar. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal?
Hi there.
Mr. Levine, let's get you sworn in.
My name is Al Levine.
Just a second, Mr. Levine.
Here's my hand.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay,
My name
now,
is Al Levine. I'm the architect for the project. My address is 2025 South Brentwood, 63144. As you can see, the first thing that they've done is hire an architect. So there's some building repair, plus there's a site plan that has to be turned in. Incidentally, and this really has little to do with this particular application, I'm pretty familiar with the neighborhood because back in 2020, when I had little to do in the afternoon, I was a census enumerator. And the adjacent neighborhood, as you know, is a pretty sketchy neighborhood. And they wanted to make sure that people who went to enumerate there were comfortable going in those neighborhoods. So I've been through the neighborhood a lot. I know Broadway. As Mr. Zafar said, is that there's limited occupancy in many of the buildings, and it seems the site is perfectly set up for auto sales. That's what it's always been. So that's the little bit that I have to add. I'm available for any technical questions.
any board members?
Alva, how many cars do you think he can put on the lot?
I don't know. I haven't been started on the project. We wanted to make
Oh, okay.
zoning. I'm obviously we'll do a site plan and show what fits.
Okay. Thought I'd ask the question.
It's a good question.
Any other board members? Thank you, Mr. Levine. Is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay. Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, city journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, and memo from planning and urban design. Excuse
And
me.
letter of opposition from Sharon Thompson.
And a letter of opposition from Alderwoman Tyus. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11950?
Appeal number 11950, 3126 Locust Boulevard.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do. Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a single-family home per plans at 3126 Locust Boulevard. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Bush Construction, care of Sarah Gibson, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to construct a single-family home per plans at 3126 Locust Boulevard in city block number 1021.04 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone H, Area Commercial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.48.050, which takes you back to 26.28.060A, area regulations, front yard area. When 25% of a frontage within the district is improved with dwellings and a majority of such improved frontage has an observed front yard line with a variation in depth of not more than 6 feet, no building hereafter constructed shall project beyond the average front yard line so established, except that in no event shall the front yard line be greater than 50 feet. If less than 25% of a frontage is developed, then a front yard line for such frontage shall be the same as that for any other frontage located within 2 city blocks as designated by house numbers in any direction from the site. If no such precedent is available, then the front yard line shall be a minimum of 10 feet, but may not be required to exceed 25 feet from the lot line at the front of the lot. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to construct a single-family home that's located in the H Area Commercial District. This is a permitted use so long as it meets the area requirements. And in the H district, the front yard setback is established by a majority of the improved frontage. So that means along this block frontage, the front yard setback is actually 0. The proposed single-family home, though, will be 15 feet from the front property line. Therefore, an area variance is required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan covering this area. This was applied for prior to the adoption of the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan. So I'll be giving both designations, but it's applicable to the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan. Under the 2005 Land Use Plan, it was designated as a specialty mixed use area, which describes areas like downtown St. Louis, where it is intended that a unique mix of uses be preserved and developed. This designation does not discourage single-family homes. Thus, there's no conflict with the 2005 Strategic Land Use Plan in terms of use. However, staff believes there is value in the existing setback regulations, which ensures that new buildings would match the historic context of the block and better preserve a mix of uses. Thus, staff does not recommend granting a variance from the area regulations. And then for context, the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this area a Central Area East. These are areas encouraging a mix of uses with more intense scale and density than other parts of the city. Many types of housing are encouraged with an emphasis on multi-unit buildings. These areas strive to be very walkable, bikeable, and transit-friendly. While single-family houses are not discouraged, staff concurs with the above findings that a single-family home on a lot of this size should comply with the current area regulations. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11950 is not in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for me from the board?
I have a question. Isn't there a building on this lot already?
I'm not aware of a building, but
Maybe it's just an old building from Google Earth.
yeah, I'm not aware of a building, but we can ask the applicants for sure.
Okay, thank you.
And then I will say James is he's available should we want to get more clarity on their recommendation.
Okay, any other board members have any questions? All right, let's hear from the appellant, Mr. Pullman.
If I may, I would like to have Sarah Gibson from Bush Construction go first because she's the architect and the builder. So,
Okay. Ms. Gibson, let's get you sworn in.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Sarah Gibson, Director of Design with Bush Construction. We're at 1536 Tower Grove Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110.
All right, go ahead with your testimony.
Okay, thanks. So as we said before, or Scott said before, I'm the architect for the project and speaking on behalf of, first on behalf of Terry and Scott Pullman. And we are asking for a setback variance for a single family home built on a vacant lot that they own. This lot's been vacant since the Pullmans owned it as of 2006, and it was vacant several years before that as well. The Pullmans bought the lot when they renovated the building next door at 3124 Locust for their home and have lived in the neighborhood since then. And they'd like to stay in the neighborhood. Their housing needs have changed from a multi-story renovated building to one where they need a one-story home with less steps and all living spaces and bedrooms located on one level. And they've maintained the adjacent lot, which is the lot at 3126 Locust, as a yard and a green space since they've owned it. And many residents along the street appreciate the highly visible green space and trees. For residential use in the district, we read the zoning code to state that a residential use ultimately points to the C district rules for front yard setbacks. The front yard setback is 6 feet from the predominant setback of dwellings. The predominant setback on the street is 0 feet, but most of the uses on the block are commercial or mixed use and not dwellings. The Pullmans would like a 15-foot setback, and this would allow them to preserve the trees, shrubs, and the fence that they have along the north side of the lot. The space would provide a small buffer from the sidewalk for privacy and also enhance the view that they have from the front of their home. And that view is to a parking lot to the north across the street and a parking lot to the west. This project has been approved by the SLDC and deemed in compliance with Chapter 99 requirements. They have also received approval from a majority of their neighbors to construct the home. And they can elaborate on that a little bit during their testimony. And they're here today to speak on behalf of the project. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Board members? No. Thank you, Ms. Gibson. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Mr. Pullman?
yes, I am.
Okay, let's get you sworn in.
Sure.
Swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you, everybody. As Sarah mentioned, we've been in the neighborhood.
Mr. Pullman, we'll need your name and mailing address for the record.
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is Scott Pullman, Pohlman, 3124 Locust Street, St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Sorry about that. Yeah. So we've been here for 20 years. We really enjoy the neighborhood. We bought the lot. For a long time, it was nothing but gravel. And if time permits, and I can share, I'll show you a couple of photos. This was basically just gravel was all it was there. We spent a lot of time and effort putting in trees, plants, We sit out there a lot. Everybody that walks by in the neighborhood comments on, hey, this is so great to have a green space. And this is really on Locust, if you go from Compton all the way to Jefferson, this is the only green space in the area. And when you talk about making an area livable and walkable and having green space is really key to that. And so we think it's a creative to the neighborhood to have a green space there. People enjoy it. We obviously enjoy it. And so the goal of moving the house back 15 foot is to preserve that green space. And quite honestly, when the house is there for probably 3/4 of the year, it won't even be visible because of the green space. It's just when the leaves fall off, you'll see it. So people from a street view will get the same view they have today of a nice, green space with trees and flowers and plants, and then they'll only have to see our house in the winter. And we've lived in the neighborhood for a long time. We are right on the sidewalk today. And I can say it's suboptimal, right? It's very, I mean, we chose to live here, so I get that. It's very noisy. We have a vestibule. So when you step into a vestibule before you come into the house, people urinate in there. It's noisy. And so it's really not conducive for a living space, right? And so that's why, and again, I'm not getting any younger, neither is my wife. And so we want to be able to be on one level. And that's one of the reasons why we want to move next door. We're committed to the neighborhood, but we want to have a space that's more livable as we age. And is it possible for me to show any photos if that's not just a quick shot or?
Sorry, Scott, we can't share screen.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
They did receive documents that Sarah
Okay.
submitted.
Yeah, and the other thing I forgot to mention is that on the two blocks, the block that I'm in and the block to the east, I contacted all the building owners. There's 33 building owners within this area. I got responses from 26 of them. 25 of them were in support of granting the variance. There was one that was not in support of it, and then there were seven building owners that I didn't get a response from. So 96% of the folks within this 2-block area are supportive of the variance and are approved the additional setback. And I did contact my alderperson numerous times, and Sarah did as well. We just never got a response from her. But her district or our ward was heavily in the north, was heavily impacted by the tornado. So, and I think the back of her house was blown off. So I guess she's got bigger fish to fry. So I understand that. But we did make an attempt to reach out to her. That's all I have. If anybody has any questions.
So Mr. Coleman, why a single house on what is clearly a commercial street? Why single family residence here?
Because I'm a single family. but there are other residential units here. Right.
Yeah,
so directly
I'm
across
aware
from
of
me,
that,
there's
but-
a single residence, and there's condos across the street from us on the second floor. So there are residents there. But I think
Specifically a single family residential building on a commercial faced street.
Well, I think because I want to preserve the green space. All right. So even in a commercial space, you need to have areas where that give you a break from the concrete and from the heat. And if you look at even farther down Locust, where they're doing the city commons, that whole area, one of the main, if you read their plan, one of the main issues with that area today is there's no green space at all. There's not even trees on the street. And so it's not conducive to walkability, to people wanting to walk up and down the street, go to restaurants, go to the different businesses along the way. So I think it's important to have green space, and we have plenty of commercial space here. It's not like there's a dearth of buildings here, because some of the other alternatives that people have proposed to me, everybody wants to make it into a parking lot. From a livability and a usability perspective.
So so I understand the green space. I guess my next question would be, in considering your design, why not do so in a way that is conducive to the commercial face and still allow for green space?
I'm not sure I'm following what you're saying there. I mean,
So one could design a building that how do I describe this? Is commercial in feel, but clearly residential. That
mhm.
that works within the built face of the street.
Well, today it's in the rest of the neighborhood, it's not possible because the built face of the street is right on the sidewalk.
I
I mean, it's right up against the sidewalk, and so um, it's very similar to the other buildings in the area as far from a heights perspective. And one other thing to keep in mind is I'm not a developer, right? So I don't have the resources to spend, you know, $20 million putting up a multifamily unit, or building a large commercial building. I don't have those resources.
No,
Not that
Mr.
I even
Pullman.
would if I had them, but I'm not
Yeah.
a developer, right?
Yeah, no, that's not what I'm asking, Mr.
Okay.
Pullman.
And then
I'm saying
oh, go ahead,
it
please.
could be a single family residence, but designed in a way that is true and compatible with the existing built face.
I think I'll let Sarah, can I let Mrs. Gibson comment on that?
Sure, Ms. Gibson.
Sure. So we, when we were designing the building, we were working with the existing proportions and were really inspired by the 1.5 story, several 1.5 story buildings along the street. There's also a large window on the front of the building that sort of mimics those large storefront windows. And while the building sits back 15 feet, in form, there are parts of it that really try to work with the scale of the neighborhood. And like we said before, I think that the setback from the street, while maybe it might be kind of sort of an intuitive sense to think, okay, this should also sit at the front of the street, or sit on that zero lot line. Then I also think that if you look at other buildings in this area, if you start to expand out a little bit into the 5 or 6 blocks, not every building sits right on that zero lot line. And especially in this neighborhood, you see other types of buildings that sit back, maybe have a front yard, and I think that that's sort of, that's common across the city as well. Every single building is always going to sit right on that zero lot line, especially, if you have a break in a block where you have an urban park or something like that. So like Scott said, I mean, I think that this just kind of leaves that little bit more soft, friendly green space on the block where it's needed, or certainly, where it could be tolerated. I shouldn't say tolerated, that's probably the wrong word. It's more than that, but I think could it be enjoyed by neighbors, especially considering that right across the street and also to the west, there are just parking lots, which, in the foreseeable future will be parking lots.
Chairman, for a point of clarity, I am curious, the code allows for a 6-foot variation. So, if they would have moved this building up and it was only 6 feet away from the zero lot line, is your line of questioning about the setback, or is it about broader form of the structure?
I honestly, it's both. yeah, and looking at that, and I'm aware of the variance, and I was thinking, well, if we were 5 feet off of the lot line, 15 feet, uh, yeah, yeah, that's a tough one for me. I'm listening to the logic around it, I guess, but it's difficult for me. I can see a 1 story or 1.5 story building that is at or near the the lot line, um, with green space to one or the other side. That's just one immediate thing, but I think there are a number of opportunities. U-shaped building with green. So it could be a number of things. Uh, yeah, I think, and I'm aware of the area, but this particular block is, is yeah. I think this is tough on this block, but. So yes, my concern is both the setback and what and massing scale design of the building. It's a combination of things.
I mean, I hear your concerns, but I would say i- if the people in the neighborhood like it, right? 96% of them, by the way. I mean, at some point, shouldn't we listen to the concerns of what the people want to see in the neighborhood? I mean, they all seem to be very, Eric Toki is on here. He owns a number of properties in the area. He can speak to it if that's permitted, but if not, but I think that, yeah, if Eric could speak, yeah.
Yeah, no, I will
Okay.
definitely hear from uh, Eric. I just yeah, that I don't think I want to get into that. I think it's our goal here that even in situations where the public is for something, doing what's overall best, uh,
Yeah.
can in certain situations outweigh public interest.
Okay.
But I yes, so do you have anything additional, Mr. Bowman?
The other- hmm. I, I guess the last thing I would say is it's been part of the neighborhood for 20 years, right? And so it's not like I'm trying to do something new here. I'm trying to maintain what's been here, that's been part of the neighborhood and has been accretive to the neighborhood for the last 20 years. And um, quite frankly, if I have to build my house right up on the sidewalk based on my prior 20 years of experience, I don't even want to do that, right? I mean, it's not a good, it's noisy. It's it's
That
it's just not yeah,
this
yeah.
is probably not the right location for a single family home, Mr. Bowman.
It's a use by right, Chairman.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand
Yeah.
it's that he can do it, but his argument is such that he's attempting to build a single family home on a commercial street and is asking for a variance, a significant variance to do so. Any thoughts, Joe?
Yeah, I have a thought. It is an allowed use, and it is a single family home. It's never going to match any two-story commercials up and down the street. I believe they put up enough of a barrier to keep the streetscape identified with their fence and the landscaping. And if they put the single family home back an extra 10 feet, I can understand that also because of the noise in the street. And I don't see this as being that great of a issue for them to build it 10 feet further back. That's just my opinion, simply because they do have the landscaping barrier and the fence along the sidewalk. That's just my thought.
Okay. Any other board members? All right. Is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal? Mr. Bulkey.
Okay, yeah.
Yes, let's get you sworn in.
Okay.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, if you can state your name and mailing address for the record.
I'm Eric Tolke. I live at 3146 Locust Street, 63103.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
So, as Scott said, my wife and I have been developing property down in Midtown Alley for about 25 years. We own a number of properties, including that parking lot just to the west of Scott's land. I'm literally Scott's next door neighbor. It's just a long next door. I have a single family home that we developed from what was a failed jazz club that we renovated over the course of several years. And my wife and I live there now. I've also got apartment buildings on the block where my kids and grandkids live. One of the things that we like about our neighborhood is that we have been successful in bringing a lot of families, even three-generation families, into the neighborhood. We've got multiple three-generation families that live on the block that Scott and I live in. Scott's a great guy. His wife's a wonderful person. They're good neighbors. They're involved neighbors. They're helping to create the fabric of the city by, repairing this sort of what had been a bedraggled neighborhood for a long time until all of us started working together to bring it back. And we do all of this stuff without a lot of support from the city. We don't get grants. We don't get money. It's just neighbors like Scott and me, putting our shoulder to it and making it happen. It takes 20 years to, get these things to turn around. The neighborhood's starting to feel really good. And I think all of us are enthusiastic about keeping the weird texture of this neighborhood that's grown up with artists and families and businesses and not commercial chains. It's never going to be it's never going to be the Loop. It's never going to even be South Grand. It's always going to be this little weird thing. And we all know that. So we like Scott and we like his land. We love the green space. We don't want to lose any of that. I don't want to lose Scott and I don't want to lose the green space. So I'd much rather have a single family house than lose Scott.
Any board members have any questions? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tolke. Is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from Planning and Urban Design, approval from St. Louis Development Corporation, signed by Dale Rousset, and presentation submitted by the petitioner. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11951?
Appeal number 11951, 3421 Park Avenue.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a single-family home per plans at 3421 Park Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Habitat for Humanity, care of Joshua Smith, concerning the Building Commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit authorizing the petitioner to construct a single-family home per plans at 3421 Park Avenue in City Block number 2167.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone G, Local Commercial and Office District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.44.060, which takes you to 26.36.080A, area dwellings, side yard. All detached dwellings less than 45 feet in height shall provide a side yard of 4 feet on one side and may provide no side yard on the other. All attached dwelling units less than 45 feet in height shall provide a side yard of 4 feet for one end unit. The other end unit may provide no side yard. If a yard is provided on both sides of a detached dwelling unit or both ends of an attached unit, neither such yard shall be less than 4 feet. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant's applying for a building permit to construct a single-family home. In the G district, neither side yard can be less than 4 feet. In this case, the proposed structure will be 3 feet 10 inches. Therefore, 2 area variances are required, 1 for each side yard. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan covering this location. It was applied for after the adoption of the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan. So that plan states that this is in a higher intensity neighborhood designation. And these are areas primarily that are residential, ranging from single-family units to large multi-unit buildings. The granting of this variance would be in keeping with the designation's intent to encourage a wide variety of housing with a mix of newer and older buildings while creating housing on a vacant lot. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11951 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
You know the setbacks on the houses on either side, if they are at 4 feet?
I don't know. Yeah, great question, but I do not know.
But they are close to that, looking at the elevations that were provided on the drawings. So we still have close to 8 feet between the two buildings, correct?
I don't know what the side yard setbacks are. I mean, I'm looking. I mean, I take your word for it if you're looking at
It
the
just
plan.
looks that way on the drawings, okay?
Okay.
So there's still a maintenance space between each of the buildings to where either side can take care of it. Could they get a maintenance agreement with the two buildings and be fine?
Yeah, they can get a maintenance agreement. I was looking, I feel like maybe there was a note here. The plan reviewer's note does notice that the applicant was unable to obtain a maintenance agreement from either neighboring property owner. And then she also mentions that these are lots of records, so they were able to develop on a parcel that's under 4,000 square feet. But I believe somebody from Habitat Humanity is with us. They might be able to explain their attempt at getting a maintenance agreement.
Okay, we're talking about 2 inches on both sides, correct?
Right.
Okay. That clears me up.
All right.
Okay, any other board members? All right, let's hear from the appellant.
Laura, it's
Hi, good day. It's Michael Powers here on behalf of Habitat for Humanity St. Louis.
Okay, Mr. Powers, let's get you sworn in.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Sure, it's Michael Powers, 3830 South Grand Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118.
Okay, go ahead with your testimony.
Absolutely. So Habitat has partnered with St. Louis University Midtown Redevelopment Corporation on a two-phase project that involves 8 single-family homes in this Gate District West neighborhood. At the outset of the project, we did receive support for the placement of the lots and the design of the homes from both Midtown Redevelopment Corporation and from the neighborhood association that we presented to. Of course, we're at the end of the second phase now, so that's been a little while since we presented to the community. At the time that St. Louis University was going to liquidate some of the lots here next to the medical campus, Habitat helped to prepare a request for proposal to developers interested in what was over 25 total lots in this neighborhood that had long been held by the university and maintained by the university for potential future redevelopment. The university decided that instead of continuing with demolition in the area and acquiring more land, that they would find qualified developers who would come in and infill to the historic standard and quality of construction that they were wanting or envisioning for the neighborhood. Habitat was one of, I believe, 4 developers that were chosen in that RFP process. We are the only developer that is producing affordable ownership in the area, and this site was the narrowest of the sites that we are building on, and required us to also adjust our floor plan because we are creating housing with the Affordable Housing Trust Fund that requires them to be universal design and handicap accessible. In doing so, we had certain widths that we had to maintain. If you look at the site plan, and if the staff has provided a copy of the construction drawings, you'll see a ramp from the rear that accesses the off-site parking at the rear. Those width requirements are what we're trying to maintain on this site, so that we will have the first floor be fully accessible with a accessible bathroom, a first floor bedroom, kitchen, and stepless egress in the rear. We did meet with the property owner, landlord to the west of the site, and weren't able to get support for the project. Their concern was overdig that might affect the foundation. We did put together a shoring plan and submitted it back, and we didn't get any feedback after that from the owners there. So we were also unable to track down on the other side of the building the ownership of that property. It looked like we weren't going to be able to get the maintenance agreements that we have received on other sites in this project. So we've come before you in hopes of getting your support so we can move forward with this building permit.
Okay, any board members?
Answer any questions you guys got, yeah.
Sure. Any board members have any questions? Joe?
Have you built homes this close to other homes that were already there in other locations?
Almost always.
Almost always. Okay. You have builder's insurance?
Yes, we do.
Okay. So you could pay for the damages to the buildings next door if you had to, correct?
Yes, we could.
Okay.
We also are required, we're required by our funding sources to ensure that anybody that steps onto the site has workers' compensation, we can't build as affordably as a lot of developers because of the standards that we have to hold our subcontractors to. We don't self-perform, obviously, all of the work, foundations, for instance, will be done by a subcontractor, but everybody that will step onto the site, even if they're mowing the grass, will have full liability and workers' comp insurance throughout the project.
Okay.
Any other board members? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Wait, Alderwoman Sanye.
I'm in support. I'm sorry, I'm not in opposition.
Okay. Yes, let's get you sworn in.
I'm ready.
When you're ready, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. I thank you for having me before you all today. I just want to come and make sure that I express both my support and the neighborhood support. I am aware that there were some concerns sort of about potentially the over digging and how that might impact the surrounding sites. And so I just wanted to highlight that in their agreement, it does say that, during construction, if there's any concerns for that, they will mitigate that risk by taking all necessary precautions not to damage any existing site features to remain. And if any damage occurs, the contractor shall contact the owner's representative immediately. The contractor shall repair all damaged items to the satisfaction of the owner at no additional cost. So I just wanted to highlight that because I understand that that was sort of some of the concern for the denial, but both the neighborhood and I have been included. They have communicated with the neighborhood as they've been through the phases of the project, and the neighborhood is looking forward to having some additional affordable housing.
Can we get her name and address for the record too?
My name is Alderwoman Sanye, and I represent the 7th Ward in the city of St. Louis, and my address is 1200 Market Street, room 230.
Thank you, Alderwoman.
Thank you.
Alderwoman, they've been doing these scattered site housings in your area for a while. Has there been any construction issues with damage to other buildings or anything like that?
There hasn't been.
Okay. I've got the history I need to know. Thanks.
Okay.
Any other board members? Okay. Now, is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, city journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, a memo from planning and urban design, and a letter of support from Alderwoman Alicia Sanye. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you read appeal number 11952?
Appeal number 11952, 4120 Nebraska Avenue.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal of the Board of Public Services decision to deny a subdivision plat to subdivide the land at 4120 Nebraska Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. First, I'll be reading the BPS denial letter, and then I'll be reading the appellant's appeal form. On March 11th, 2025, Lutheran Development Group, care of Christopher Sherman, 3100 Chippewa Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118. Dear Mr. Sherman, at its meeting on March 11, 2025, the Board of Public Service voted to deny application number 132739 for Lutheran Development Group in partnership with the Affordable Housing Commission to subdivide 4120 Nebraska Avenue to construct 8 single-family homes in City Block 2628 per the rules and regulations of the Board of Public Service governing the subdivision of the land in the City of St. Louis, Missouri, Board Order Number 720 amended, and per the following section of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. Section 26.24.080 A, density of population. A single-family dwelling shall have a lot area of not less than 4,000 square feet, except that lots of record prior to the effective date of ordinance 45309 may be used for a one single-family dwelling, provided the yard regulations of the section are complied with. Other dwellings, except as provided in section 26.24.020C, shall have a lot area of not less than 2,500 square feet for each dwelling unit. And also section 26.20.070 side yard, there shall be provided a side yard of not less than 4 feet in width on each side of a building, and the total width of both side yards shall not be less than 10 feet. Provided, however, that the lots of record prior to the effective date of this ordinance or zoning code having a width of less than 40 feet may reduce the total side yard width by an amount equal to 1/2 the distance between the width of such lot and 40 feet. But in no case shall either side be less than 3 feet in width. Should you feel aggrieved by our decisions or part thereof, you may appeal within 30 calendar days of the date of this notice to the Board of Adjustment, Room 400, City Hall. For your convenience, there is included with this notice an application for appeal. If you have questions relating to the procedures of the appeal, please contact the zoning office at 314-622-3666. Denied by the order of the Board of Public Service, March 11, 2025. Respectfully, Michelle Knox, Secretary to the Board of Public Service. An appeal decision made by the Board of Public Service comes now Lutheran Development Group, Inc., and says that on the 11th day of March, 2025, a subdivision plat was denied by the Board of Public Service that would have authorized the petitioner to construct 2 new single-family homes at 4120 and 4122 Nebraska, in accordance with the plans and specifications filed on the 14th day of January herewith. The Board of Public Service denied the subdivision permit for said occupancy as stated above, and the petitioner hereby appeals the denial of the permit for the following reasons. With the interest of expanding affordable ownership opportunities in the neighborhood, we believe the subject sites are suitable for this planned development. Additionally, we plan to enter into a maintenance agreement that satisfies side yard requirements. My $200 appeal fee is attached. I understand this fee is non-refundable. The 2nd day of April 2025, signed by the petitioner, who is the owner's agent. So, in summary, the applicant is applying to subdivide the land. It's located in the B district, and the intent is to develop 2 single-family dwellings, of which they provided a preliminary site plan for. In the B district, though, a lot shall be no less than 4,000 square feet. The proposed lots are 3,088 square feet. Therefore, 2 area variances are required. And then, in addition, a side yard of 4 feet is required unless maintenance agreements are provided. The applicant has provided maintenance agreements for the newly created property line. However, they would still need an area variance for the side yard setback adjacent to 4126 Nebraska. Therefore, 1 additional area variance is required. And then it should be of note that the Board of Aldermen passed a minimum lot size ordinance that has been signed by the mayor and is waiting registration ordinance number. So you likely would not see this type of request in the future. But for the time being, are there any questions pertaining to this appeal?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What's the new ordinance lot size?
2,000 square feet for a single
Thank you.
family home. Yep.
Woo-hoo. Okay, thanks.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. I'm Thomas Florence, Florent. I work for Lutheran Development Group. We're at 3100 Chippewa down here in South City, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118. So I want to thank everyone for sticking around and paying attention to this item here. As you've heard, this is part of an 8-home project that we're trying to get all the way through to completion in partnership with the Affordable Housing Commission. It's a $2.9 million investment in South City. And we have significant SLRF funds or SLFRF funds, SLRF funds in this, so that they're ARPA funds. So there's a little bit of a timer on using them. But at the core of this is expanding homeownership opportunities down in the south side of the city. We weren't actually aware that we needed a third maintenance agreement, so we will doggedly track that down if required. But we had thought that coming into a maintenance agreement on the brand new shared lot line would provide enough space on each side, but evidently that's not the case. So with that understood and understanding that we will pursue that, we hope that you will allow us to subdivide the lot, since the lot requirements aren't necessarily that much of an issue anymore. We are currently under construction on 5 out of the 8 homes. We just were awarded our 6th building permit over on Wicklow. And we're looking to wrap this thing up before the end of the year, or at least get the ARPA funds spent by the end of the year. So that kind of leads to the final bit, which is these 2 homes. They're going to conform to the sort of standard city lot, generally speaking. And so our hope is that we can not only get these built, but plenty of others built just like these on various other vacant lots that LRA has and are owned by private hands and throughout the south side.
Okay. Any board members have any questions? All right. Thank you, Mr. Florent. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay. Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial on the Board of Public Service denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, a memo from Planning and Urban Design, 2 maintenance agreements signed by Lutheran Development Group, Christopher Sherman, Executive Director, and a copy of the BPS file. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. That concludes our testimonial portion of the hearing. We will now go into deliberations. Thank you, Laura, for your service. And board members, shall we continue, or do we need a 5-minute recess?
We can continue.
Okay. Appeal number 20584, 5630 North Broadway.
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it's already been an automotive lot, and he's one of the few people that ever brought an architect to the game to begin with. And it's not a residential area. Anybody else got any comments?
I
don't
agree
have a
with that,
problem
Bill.
with it. Yeah.
I mean, it's a perfect fit for the place. And you look at even on Google Maps and stuff like that. When I looked at that, it was a car lot back then, and the fact that, like I said, he even brought an architect here. It's already working on it, so that's more than we usually get. So I'll make a motion to uh, approve with conditions. I think you got, Joe, hours I didn't write those down.
I don't know if we got the hours. We went through the standard conditions, but we
hours.
didn't get the hours.
The hours were 10
You did?
to 10 to 6 Monday through Saturday.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. I must have dozed
I-
off. Do you want to limit the number of cars?
To
Whatever the
he-
site plan gives him.
Right. So he's got to submit a site plan that'll tell us how many cars.
yeah,
I don't know if he can get 20 on there, but with parking for employees, parking for visitors, I don't know if he can get 20 for sale cars on there, but that'll be played out by the site plan, I guess.
right.
I think
Remember-
he needs to make sure he doesn't have any tree weeds in the fence line. I was driving down Broadway, and that can be an issue there on those car lots.
Well, I think one of the conditions was to keep it clean and whatever.
Well, whatever.
Maintained
not
on the property.
open.
It's good to be clear. I appreciate that, Mona. Because I think typically that one about clean, we are looking for trash and debris and stuff like that, not necessarily weeds.
Well, then let's add a condition that the fence must be clear of all street trees or trees of Mother Earth or whatever you want to call them.
Okay.
How about if the fence line is free of all weeds and overgrowth?
Sounds great.
There we go.
That's
You're really good at wording, Mary. Thank you.
My pleasure.
That's why she's got the job she's got.
took the words right out of my mouth, Mary. Thank you. That's my conditions.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mel, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Mel?
Should not be a detriment as conditioned. Did we also
Okay.
was part of that not having the I forget one of the conditions was that nuisance proper thing like that.
Yeah, it was under.
Okay.
That was, yeah, Evan read that
I mean,
in.
I understand everything, but it's just, if you look at that, it's just that's about the only you're going to be able to put in there.
Yeah. Okay. Appeal number 11950, 3126 Locust Street.
When just want to make a comment. When you pull up Google Earth, there is a single-story building right in the middle of that big giant lot, which looks like a house. I don't know if it is, but it's right in the middle of that lot. That's why I was
Doesn't
asking.
show
if there's a
up on the
building there
inf-
already.
That doesn't show up on the information we received. It just shows it as a blank lot, but it also doesn't show the landscaping that is on there.
I spent a lot of years riding those streets.
Google Earth shows that building right in the middle of that lot.
Yeah, there's
Back off the
a
street.
it's like
And
a temporary building there. I've driven past it. I've never quite understood what it was, but it's yeah, it's like a
Is it a garden?
shed,
Yeah.
like kind of like a shed of some sort. But
Looks really big on Google Earth.
I've been around that area for a lot of years.
Yeah.
That was one of the areas I rode for many, many years. And there's all sorts of little bits and pieces of house that you don't see it because you don't really pay attention to it. But there's a mix of things that are there. And I'd rather see somebody build something there that, like I said, keep the green space, set them back. If the neighborhood's in favor of it,
Yeah, this one's tough for me because and probably because I am thinking both in terms of how we look at things from a historic preservation board. I think I know the area has a few buildings in general here and there that have different setbacks. But man, these 3 blocks here, these 4 blocks, one of my friends used to own a nightclub 2 blocks down. And yeah, I think
you're really not going to see it, Anthony. If he keeps the green space out front, you're not even going to see it.
I look at the green space and the fence as the barrier of the property. I feel that the landscaping and the fence are going to be in line with the buildings on either side. So you've kept the physical straightness of the street. This is a different building type that is allowed in this zone. And I wouldn't believe that anybody would want to build a single family home up against the sidewalk anywhere in this town.
Well, I would be in agreement with that, which is why I question building on this lot, given that. Well, sure, and
they've been pioneers down here for 20 years. They've been pioneers down here for 20 years. I think that does pull some weight.
Yeah,
Well,
again,
I'm not even looking at that. I'm not looking at who they are or whatever it is. I'm just saying, since it's a different building type, but is allowed in this area, that it should have possibly a different setback because of the use that it is. It's not a multifamily home. It's on a large lot. They've got a barrier between the sidewalk and the building. And it's only 10 feet. I mean, goodness. So
No,
that
it's
is
15.
that is
It's
where
15.
I'm coming from.
It's 15 feet.
It's only 10 feet over what would have
10
been allowed.
feet over,
We would have got
yes.
to 6 feet anyway. So
Yeah.
the variance is basically for 9 feet, I guess. We're
Yeah,
looking at 15 foot setback.
I'd have no issues if this were 5 or 6 feet. 15 feet just seems, and the green space thing doesn't really move me, because one can design a building in a home in a way that you still keep green space. So that doesn't, I'm like, you can design that. That's not, yeah, that could be done. I mean, there are a number of ways to do that so that you
I wouldn't deny
continue.
that, but that wasn't what was presented to us. And I'm saying that, to me, what they have presented keeps the visual of the street as up to the sidewalk. And it is a different building type. And that doesn't bother me, that it has a deeper
And it's
setback.
allowable.
So so who's making the motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second it. Unless, Mona, did you want a second or do you want me to?
No, go ahead.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion made by Joe, seconded by Mel. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? The chair will abstain.
Can't
We'll pass it.
we got to have, with the way we have it, Anthony, you got to say, Mary, what that
Yeah,
wouldn't,
it doesn't pass if you abstain, right?
Because we only
You
got
have
four.
to
We
have
gotta
4 concurring votes to overturn the denial of BPS or the building commissioner. So if that's the vote, the motion fails and you can make a new motion.
The chair abstains.
So the motion fails. It's, I guess, 3-0-1. Is there a new motion?
I don't know what it would be. It'd be same thing to approve. Do you, Archer? You look like you're starting to say something. Did I cut you off?
Yes, Archer, did you?
No, I was gonna say what Mary said.
Your other option, I guess you could entertain a new motion to table it until such time that we could have 5 members. Can they do that, Archer?
Yes, they can do that.
All right, I'll make the motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Mel, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? Motion carries.
We don't need
Okay. Appeal number 11951, 3421 Park Avenue.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second you.
Motion made by Mona, seconded by Mel. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed? Motion carries. Findings?
Asset.
Yay.
Cool. Thank you, Mona. Finally, appeal number 11952, 4120 Nebraska Avenue.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion made by Mona, seconded by Joe. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 All of those opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Mona?
Asset.
2 in a row.
Thank you.
That's it for the year, Mona. You have all your assets for the year, okay?
It's all about the housing.
Meeting minutes.
Yeah, we need to go to a closed session.
We need to do a roll call vote to go into a closed session. Item number 4. Thank you.
Yep. Joe.
I'm here.
Mel.
Here.
Mona.
Here.
Myself. Yes. We are now in closed session.
All right, I got to stop the recording and also put folks in the waiting room. I'm assuming David Steele's with us again, Archer.
Yes, he can stay.
Okay. All right, looks like everybody's left. So let me put us on pause. All right, Chairman.
Okay. Meeting minutes, Joe.
I scanned them. I didn't see anything that jumped out at me as being wrong, so I vote to approve. Gotta get into the email again or see the dates.
July 9th?
And 25th.
Yeah, those 2 dates.
June 25th and July 9th.
Yeah. If they're correct, I had to get a chance to get the right page up here.
We are not in a closed session now.
Okay. Where do you hide the date?
Did anyone second the minutes? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
I'll second to approve them. And they, just so you know, I did look at the June 25th, and that's July 9th.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mel.
Okay. Motion made by Joe, seconded by Mel. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Meeting minutes accepted. Any new business?
I have nothing for the board.
I won't be here next week.
We got somebody?
Thank
George.
George.
George? Okay.
If it falls apart,
I'm here. I'm here.
if for some reason it falls apart, Jerry, let me know and I'll see what I can do to get here. I have to go to the hospital for some tests, so
Oh.
that's why.
Hope you're all
It's-
right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just follow up. It's just stuff that's from last year, but I can try and get. I just don't want to. I should be okay, but I don't want to take that chance. And I'm saying, oh, we got to do something else. Then I can't get here. So that's all.
Well, good luck.
Oh, yeah. I'm studying my ass off for it. Trust me, I'm trying to study for my tests.
You got a microscope or what?
That's from when I had those when the medicine tried to kill me.
Oh, yeah.
They,
All right. Hope it goes well, Mel.
yeah, it will be. So,
Okay.
all right, guys. But I just want to let you know if you do need me, Dre, give me a call.
We
Right.
can't lose any more. There's only 4 of us.
Yeah.
5 sometimes. But hey, we can't lose any more.
I know. So I said,
You heard
Good that
that, Mel.
Anthony's in his 50s. The rest of us, I don't know.
God, I say, yeah, I still can't imagine that in my 50s I'm the youngest. Jeez.
unfortunately,
Well,
unfortunately, it's not the best looking one, don't it, Anthony?
in 16 days, I'll be 72.
Oh, wow.
Birthday.
Happy birthday.
Birthday.
Cool.
Just another day, guys. Just another day.
Oh, man.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Sure.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Mel. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? We stand adjourned.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks,
See you next
everyone.
week.
Bye.
Yeah. Have a good day.